Welcome to French Conversations for Beginners. Learn everyday French from Janina, the language teacher, and Joël from France.
Bonjour Joël.
Bonjour Janina.
Ça va?
Ça va toujours.
Ah, oui. Okay, today we're going to learn how to do some meeting and greeting in French.
D'accord.
D'accord? All right. So is it a little bit different when it's formal and then when it's informal? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oui.
So how is it different?
It's a matter of being polite or not.
All right. So you have to use some different language forms and be much more formal, obviously, for a formal greeting, someone you don't know very well.
Yeah.
Then you would be...
Yeah.
Okay. And it's very important culturally, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to start? Let's do a formal greeting, which is kind of difficult because we live together, so we're not very formal with each other, but we'll have to pretend. So I'm just getting to France for the first time to my new job. So we'll do a formal meet and greet right here. Okay, let's get started. So, bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour, vous êtes Madame Climas, n'est-ce pas?
Pardon?
Oui, je travaille à l'école, on vous attendait.
Oui, bien sûr.
Je suis le directeur, Monsieur Servi.
Ah, je comprends. All right, so that was very formal, certainly not like we talk to each other. So, all right, so let me ask you some questions about some of the language we used in that dialogue.
Okay.
All right. So we started with good morning. How do you say that?
Bonjour,
And then,
but we say that all day long.
yeah, so it's also hello.
Yeah.
All right. And then Mr., which is of course,
Monsieur.
and Ms. or would be
Miss. Mademoiselle.
Ms. like MS. So we have that. I know you don't have anything
Yeah.
similar in French, but
Madame.
Madame. And then if you're very young,
Mademoiselle.
okay. And then what does n'est-ce pas mean?
Isn't it?
Isn't it? Okay.
In
So
it?
of course I said pardon. So I didn't quite know who you were
Yeah.
in our little dialogue. And so you told me where you worked. So can you say that one again? You said where you worked.
Oui, je travaille à l'école.
All right. So you said I work at the school.
Yes.
All right. And then you said that I know you said you were waiting for me. How do you say?
On vous attendait.
Okay. On vous attendez. All right. And then I said yes, of course. Oui, bien sûr. All right. And you told me a little bit more about your job. You said.
Je suis le directeur.
Okay. All right. Meaning you are the.
The head of school. Director.
You're the principal of this school.
Yes.
Ah, okay. All right. If you lived with him, you'd think this was funny too. Anyway. Okay. And I said, je comprends. Yes, I understand. All right. So. All right. There's some important differences. So we were very formal with each other. We didn't use any first names. Would it be appropriate to kiss in this case?
No.
Do you think? Not at all.
No, when you don't know someone, you don't kiss.
Okay, and you do the two. It's two kisses, yeah, on the cheek. When you first
Depends
meet.
of the regions, yeah.
Okay.
It's from 2 to 4, I think.
2 to 4. So you are from South Central France, near Lyon. And
Yeah,
so,
Central France.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Auvergne.
Yeah, I know this greatest place in the world. I know. All right. So.
It's 2, one on each cheek.
One on each cheek. So then, what about other places in France? You said between 2 and 4. So.
Yeah, some places are 3, some places 4. I don't know.
Okay. What about Paris? I know you lived in Paris for a long time.
2.
It's 2 in Paris.
Well, yeah.
All right. Okay. So, what if we went back? And I know that was quite funny to do that, considering, we know each other very well. Formal greeting. What about an informal greeting? So when we meet, when I meet your, old acquaintances and friends, when we run into them, obviously that's not going to be a formal situation. So, do you want to do a dialogue or people are informally meeting and greeting?
Family.
Okay.
Yeah, we tend to always say bonjour. That's polite.
Yeah.
Young people would say salut.
Salut. Okay.
That's not the best way.
Okay. All right. So what about I know some really cute things that you say in your family. Cuckoo.
Coucou.
Yeah. Okay. But that wouldn't be appropriate to say to somebody you just met, would it?
Yeah, or more to try to catch the attention of someone, you say coucou.
Okay. All right. And, how much information would it be? So, for example, do people often get into, how are you and where do you come from, things like that, when you meet and greet people for the first time, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, so let's practice. Again, this is kind of hard because we know each other. So, all right, so let's practice an informal greeting. All right?
Okay.
All right. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Which is not very polite. You try always to add at least the first name.
Okay.
So let's say I was the director of the school. I'd meet you 1 week later after this first meeting. And I would say, bonjour, Janina.
All right. So let's start. You want to start again? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bonjour, Janina.
Bonjour, Joël. Ça va?
Très bien, et vous?
Très bien. D'où venez-vous?
Je viens de Auvergne, de la région Auvergne.
Oui, oui. J'aimerais aller là-bas une fois, peut-être.
Oui, l'Auvergne est le plus beau pays du monde.
Oui, bien sûr. All right. Okay. Now, I'm talking about something that was obviously work niceties. They're not calling each other by their last name anymore. I'm talking about people really meeting in an informal situation for the first time. So, where, let's say when we go out to our, Le Place Jean Jaurès, for example, and maybe we run into, one of your old acquaintances.
Yeah.
So, appropriately meeting for the first time. So would it, what would take place? This is where the kissing would take place. Definitely not at work.
Yeah.
Probably not at work.
Probably not. I don't know.
If somebody was a friend and they went away on a business trip and they came back, would that be maybe a time that you might do the kiss on two cheeks? Would that be appropriate then?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be, okay. Just like giving someone a hug in the United States, you haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a situation. So you're going to, we're in Saint-Étienne. So we're out in the evening. We run into we run into somebody and I'm meeting them for the first time. Okay. So bonjour Joël.
Bonjour Janina.
Ça va?
Ça va toujours très bien.
Oui. All right. So, but if you get into a bit more detail about meeting and greeting people, right? What would you, what kind of things do people ask? Do people ask, how old are you? Or is that really inappropriate?
That's very inappropriate.
Yeah, even for example, in English-speaking culture, you certainly wouldn't ask a woman of a certain age,
yeah,
their age,
no,
or a man for that matter, but it'd be really inappropriate for.
Yeah, it's mostly for women.
Yeah.
You don't ask, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What are some other things you really should do to make people feel comfortable when they first meet you? People don't shake hands, do they?
Yeah, a lot.
So would that be, what about, so if two men meet each other for the first time, would they shake hands?
Always shake hands, yeah.
And not kiss, right?
Men, no.
I knew that, but I always want to be clear about that. But a man meets a woman, you do the kiss.
Yeah?
Yeah. Two women.
Yeah, they
The
kiss.
kiss. Okay. Have I made any really bad faux pas with your family when I've met them?
No.
I mean, not ones we can really talk about. We'll maybe get into later episodes about some of the things I've said over the years, but because they're actually pretty funny. But
No, none of I can remember.
yeah, okay. So generally, men shake hands. Do people hug?
Not much.
Not much. Do you think it's? What do you think of when we're around? You know, my American friends and family and acquaintances. What do you think
When you hug?
when people hug? In the way, especially men, do you think it's odd? Do you think it's different?
Well, it's different.
It's just different, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I think you always have kissed my family, but they're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kiss everyone.
Yeah.
Except not your dad, but
Yeah, I don't
not
think
your
he-
brother.
I don't
but
think they
I
would
kiss
really-
everyone else.
Would really like that.
Well, your dad kissed me now.
Well, he does, yeah, but he studied French. He's pretty
Yeah,
open
but
to
he's-
cultures.
Yeah, he gives me a kiss now every time.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. What about anything else being taboo? You don't ask people their age. Do you ask people where they're from?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I know people always ask where. Well, I think they know where I'm from. The people who
Yeah.
your friends, they know where I'm.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
obviously American.
Yeah.
And
When
people
you've
are
got a
always
strange accent, yeah, you
Yeah.
can ask where people are from.
yeah, and people always ask where in the States I'm from.
Yeah.
All the time, exactly where. But I guess that's a matter of you have a much smaller country than the United States. So just to offer perspective on, people seem to be very curious about that outside of the United States, where I'm from in the United States.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but they don't. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so. All right, so let's go down and talk about some of the things that you definitely need to know to be able to meet and greet people, okay? So I'm going to say the English, and I want you to say it in French, okay? So we'll start with formal meetings and greetings, breakdown. So to greet someone in the morning, you would say?
Bonjour.
To greet someone in the afternoon, you would say?
Bonjour.
To greet someone in the evening, you would say?
Bonsoir.
Okay. So how do you say sir or Mr.?
Monsieur.
How do you say Ms.?
Madame.
And that would also mean Mrs. And then Miss would be?
Mademoiselle.
All right. How do you say you in a formal situation?
Vous.
How do you say you in an informal situation?
Tu.
So how do you say how are you when it's formal?
Comment allez-vous?
And how do you say how are you when it's informal?
Comment vas-tu?
And how do you say isn't it?
N'est-ce pas?
Okay. How do you say, for example, in a formal situation, are you and then the person is?
Êtes-vous?
Êtes-vous? And then in an informal situation, you would say?
Es-tu?
All right. You brought up something interesting about we were waiting for you, and you used the word on. But
Yeah.
that doesn't really mean we. We just want to make that clear for listeners that means we, but it's not the word for we.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. No, it's not really proper academic French. On
Okay.
is not
But everybody
something we use to say instead of we.
But everybody uses
Has
it,
to be-
so you have to learn
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So you have to
yeah,
learn it. That
yeah.
people say on as it translates to like one in English,
Yeah.
but it really means we, and people use it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it actually makes it really easy to learn your verbs in French because you can use that instead of we and learn a bunch of ways to say. You can it's much more efficient. You can learn this first. Okay. And so I also said, pardon me, which you would say.
Excusez-moi.
But no, actually, you could say that. But in the dialogue, what did I say? I said
Pardon.
Pardon. And how do you say yes?
Oui.
How do you say I?
Je.
And work, I work.
Je travaille.
And then at.
À.
And at the school.
À l'école.
And say I am.
Je suis le.
Okay, I am the principal.
Le directeur.
Okay, je suis le.
Je suis le directeur.
And I said, I understand. So I said.
Ah oui, je comprends.
And I also said, oh yes, of course, which would be.
Bien sûr.
Bien sûr. Okay. And then in the informal, we didn't do much that was a whole lot. Oh, we asked one more question in the formal. We said, where do you come from? Which was?
D'où venez-vous?
Okay. And then you said, I come
Je
from...
suis originaire de...
Right.
Je viens de...
Je viens de. Okay. All right. All right. So those are some basic ways to meet and greet in French. À tout à l'heure.
À tout à l'heure. Au revoir.
For more resources on learning and teaching languages, to get on our mailing list, or to get the workbook for this course, be sure to visit reallifelanguage.com/reallifelanguageblog. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe and leave a rating.